The entrepreneurial process. The entrepreneurial process not only involves the identification of a business opportunity and accessing the needed resources, but must also consider the social, economic, political, and technological factors in the environment which impact on the success in bringing the opportunity to a successful implementation. The entrepreneur is at the heart of the entrepreneurial process, and researchers have paid considerable attention to the personal characteristics of entrepreneurs, the wide ranges of personality traits, and behavioral characteristics and skills that are employed. An entrepreneur is differentiated by his or her actions in identifying an opportunity and accessing resources to take advantage of the opportunity. A. Identifying opportunities involves generating ideas for new or improved products, processes or services, and evaluating them to identify the best opportunity. 1. Idea generation. Many new ideas come from work and personal experience, where the entrepreneur is familiar with a product, process or service and its current failings in meeting consumer demand. Someone who can ignore the traditional assumptions and look at how things ought to work is often most successful at new idea generation. 2. Screening. The more quickly that dead-end ideas can be weeded out, the more time is available for pursuing ideas with potential. Ideas are more likely to provide greater opportunities if they A. The idea creates or adds value for the customer. B. The idea provides a competitive advantage that can be sustained. C. The idea is marketable and financially viable. D. The idea has low exit costs. 3. Developing the opportunity. While a clear vision of the business concept and entry strategy are necessary and important, the entrepreneur must also incorporate new information that becomes available as the process continues, as this can significantly improve the results. New ventures use one of three main entry strategies. Introduce a totally new product or service. Introduce a product or service that will compete directly with existing products or services but add a new twist, or purchase a franchise where the buyer, franchisee, purchases the right to sell the product or service of the seller, franchisor. A business plan is a document that identifies the proposed business venture, explains why it is an opportunity, and outlines the marketing, operational and financial plans, and the manager's skills and abilities. The business plan is a critical document when outside financing is required. B. Accessing resources. Entrepreneurs typically bootstrap, which means doing more with less. 1. Financial resources. Choosing between debt and equity financing requires trade-offs with respect to potential profitability, financial risk and control. Since a business is at its riskiest stage during the startup phase, equity financing is usually more appropriate and available than debt financing. Equity financing refers to money contributed by investors in exchange for an ownership interest. Lenders perceive that an equity investment by the entrepreneur is an indication of his or her commitment to the venture. 2. Other resources. These include the Business Development Bank of Canada, incubators, and the Internet. A. Business Development Bank of Canada has a mandate to help develop Canadian businesses, with a particular focus on small and medium-sized companies. It provides financing, venture capital, and consulting strategies. B. Incubators. Business incubators provide new businesses with support to help nurture them into a successful future. Key forms of assistance include consulting services, legal advice, accounting services, business contacts, clerical services, and office space. C. The Internet. Many resources are available online which can help entrepreneurs to gather information, write a business plan, and access government grants. D. Crowdfunding. This is the practice of collecting financial contributions from various individuals through an online platform. It gives the average person the chance to invest in a company. Sources of equity financing include personal savings, love money, investments from friends, relatives and associates, private investors, angels, and venture capitalists. Debt financing means borrowing money, which requires payment of interest and repayment of amount borrowed, and is therefore higher risk than equity financing. Debt financing provides the opportunity for increased returns to the owners when the business is performing well. Collateral means assets that a borrower uses to secure a loan. If the borrower defaults, the lender can seize and sell the assets. Sources of debt financing include financial institutions and suppliers, who provide trade credit by allowing companies to pay at a later date. Building the right team. Various stakeholders can provide resources to the new venture. Deciding whether to share ownership by forming a venture team depends on two main issues: the size and scope of the venture, and the personal competencies that are available. Assessing the fit between elements in the entrepreneurial process. An ongoing task as the opportunities change, requiring changes to the resources and people required. 1. The entrepreneur opportunity fit. A successful fit is critical, requiring the entrepreneur to do a realistic self-assessment of skills, abilities and personal interests to determine whether the opportunity is something that he or she wants and is able to do. 2. The opportunity resources fit. The entrepreneur must consider not only the requirements of startup, but must also anticipate and plan for changing resource requirements as the business opportunity evolves. 3. The entrepreneur resources fit. The entrepreneur must consider whether he or she has the capacity to meet the resource requirements of the venture, including established networks that can be utilized. Starting up a small business. 3 options are available when starting a small business: starting from scratch, buy an existing business, or buying a franchise. A. Buying an existing business. Higher success rate than businesses started from the scratch. Potential advantages: I. An existing business has proven its ability to attract customers. 2. It has established relationships with lenders, suppliers and other stakeholders. 3. It provides potential buyers a clear picture on what to expect in terms of sales, market potential, target customers, etc. Potential limitations: I. There may be uncertainty about the exact financial shape of the business. 2. The business may suffer from a poor reputation, location and/or relationship with stakeholders. And 3. It is often difficult to determine a fair purchase price for small businesses. 1. Taking over a family business may provide access to funds not otherwise available to the purchaser and access to management experience. Major problems may occur, however, due to the challenges of dealing with family members, including I. Arriving at a reasonable purchase price. 2. Determining who assumes control of the operations. 3. Deciding who is employed in the business. 4. Choosing an appropriate successor. And v. Disagreements about the future of the business. B. Buying a franchise. This is a popular way to start a business. Examples of franchises are described with a brief description of the history of franchising. A franchise agreement is a contract that gives the purchaser, franchisee, the right to sell the product or service of the franchisor, and sets out the duties and responsibilities of each party. Financial responsibilities of the franchisee typically include I. Initial payment for the right to operate a local outlet of the franchise. 2. Royalty payments to the franchisor, ranging from 2 to 30% of revenues. And 3. Advertising fees for ads run in the franchisee's local area. B. Is franchising for you? Potential franchisees should consider the following costs that will be incurred when entering into a franchising agreement. I. The franchise sales price. 2. Expenditures that will be incurred before the business opens. 3. Training expenses. 4. Operational expenses for the first 6 months. V. Personal financial needs for the first 6 months, and v. Emergency needs. Success and failure in a small business. Interpreting available data is difficult because it excludes businesses with no employees, and includes all businesses that ceased operations, which will include business that stopped operating for reasons other than failure, such as retirement of the owner. A. Reasons for success. Key reasons include hard work, drive and dedication of owners, market demand for the product or service, managerial competence, and luck. B. Reasons for failure. Key reasons include managerial incompetence, neglect, weak control systems, and insufficient capital.